guys, welcome to the Savvy Money Show with me, your host Sean. Today we're going to talk about Workhorse and the bearish and bullish points. I'm going to start with the bearish. This is because a lot of people probably haven't been through something like this before and they might not know how to react, so they might start selling out prematurely. If you want to sell out, then fine, because that will be your decision. I'm not a financial advisor. I cannot advise you what way to go. Now, bearish points I found was that Workhorse does not have manufacturing capacity to get more than 10%, to fulfill more than 10% of the contract. Even if they were to use Lordstown facilities, they would only be able to fulfill 20% of it. I will answer these questions in the bullish points, so don't think I'm just leaving them there. Workhorse has not fulfilled all 1,000 of usps trucks as of yet, and that's right, they still have more than 2/3 of that truck order to fulfill. UPS only ordered 1,000 from trucks from Workhorse, but they've ordered 10,000 from a UK van delivery company. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you might want to check the video about a Workhorse killer that will be coming up later on today. The fact is, Workhorse hasn't had a government contract before and doesn't know how to fulfill a government contract. If Workhorse takes the USPS contract and overextends itself, it cannot go after other contracts. What happens if FedEx suddenly wants to commit to a Workhorse for a large contract, and then they can't because it will take them 4 years to fulfill it, and FedEx say, sorry, we're going elsewhere. Now, I'll start these not in any particular order, but I will start talking about the bullish points. Now, the other bearish point is the truck in the picture of the people being trained has to be old, because the battery in the container was from their old supplier, not from Romeo. Now, how can you class it as evidence when if the photo is old and it doesn't mean anything, it's just a photo. And don't forget to hit that lovely like button, almost as lovely as me. Helps with the YouTube algorithm and getting the video out to more people. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Become part of the Savvy Money Show family. We give each other hints and tips and updates about stocks and shares we talk about on the show. As well as that, you can ask me to look into any share you want and I don't charge a Discord fee or ask for a Patreon. All I do ask is for you to comment in the box below and hit the like button. Even if you disagree with me, especially if you disagree with me, I like a debate. And if I do something wrong, I want you to call me on it so I can improve the channel. And why not check out the links in the description below? There's lots of others. I've used each one of them myself. I wouldn't give you links if I haven't checked them out myself. If you're looking for a free trading platform which should trade your stocks and shares, you know, you can get a free share worth up to £200 for signing up and depositing a small amount. A free trade only requires a £1 deposit. The others require £100 or dollars, depending on which one you go for. Stake has over 3,500 US stocks on their books, which is the biggest one outside of the US. Whereas Trading 212 is one of the best and easiest platforms to use. But as I said, I use all three. Anyway, on with the show. Now, you have to decide whether you're going to be bullish or bearish on a stock. Not because of the contract, but the company. And the thing is, you have to look past the USPS contract and think, if they don't get it, then what do they have? I work in postal sector. I've worked in the postal sector, and I know how many people they have to do the final mile delivery. And I think if they can fit autonomous driving into this, then 3/4 of the workforce will be cut. I know that's not something people will want to hear, but it's the truth, and that will be a massive saving. Sorry, I forgot another bearish one. Workhorse directors have been selling their stock. Sorry. Now, for the bullish ones, the Workhorse directors have been selling their stock, yes. And they're basically directors of every company has been selling their stock. Experienced people in the stock market will tell you not to pay any attention to directors selling their stock. It's when they buy stock, that's when you pay attention to them. Nah, they also filed a form in advance so that they would sell the stock at a predetermined date, so that it didn't matter what the price point was, they were selling the stock then. Now, you had, this is not in any particular order, remember that. We had that they didn't have a government contract before, but no one has experience of a government contract until they get a government contract, and then they start becoming a trusted contractor of the government once they start fulfilling. I heard that they still haven't fulfilled the UPS, the UPS contract. They have just taken on a lot more staff, trained them up, as you would have seen from a previous video of mine about Workhorse, and they have according to them, they will have increased their production to between 3,000 to 6,000 trucks a year. Now, it was 3,000 before the last recruitment drive. If that was the case and accurate, then with the last recruitment drive, it should be about 6,000 trucks. However, that's not confirmed. Now, the UPS contract is only for 1,000 trucks. And remember, they haven't had that for a year. So they are not late on that yet. Now, we have the fact that they only have the facility for 10 to 20% of the contracts. If you remember a company called GEVO, I did a video on it in the past. They got a massive company changing contract with India worth billions of dollars, and they didn't have the manufacturing facilities to deal with it. So what did they do? They used the money to set up 4 new factories. So the money was put towards building the factories, bringing on staff, and they broke even on the contract, but the contract paid for the factories and the staff. And what that did was that has set them up to increase productivity going forward. And that is what Workhorse could do. They could take the money and use it to set up new factories, new plants, and new staff. And this is something no one's thinking about and no one's talking about, and I don't know why. And it could set them up for the future. Now, could they end up just getting 10 to 20% of the contract? Yes. They could end up getting nothing. But the fact is, they are more likely to get more 50%, and that's it, than nothing, than 10 to 20%. And even with 50% of it, they could use that money to set up a couple of factories rather than outsourcing, and it would make more sense to do that. You set up another factory, bring on more staff, and you do that. And with the unemployment at the moment in America, you will find more. Now, there was the fact about Ford building respirators and giving free anti-COVID technology to the government. The respirators were paid for by the government. The police interceptors were not. thing is, if Workhorse do not get the contract, and if Workhorse do not get the contract, and Ford Oshkosh do, it would look bad on the government, and it could force a challenge, purely on the fact that it looks like Ford have been trying to bribe the government. And the end of the day, everyone knows Workhorse is best suited. And don't forget, Workhorse not only have they increased the range of their delivery vehicles, they have got not only the vouchers in California for both delivery vehicles, they now have it in New York as well for both delivery vehicles. Now, there was the thing about the picture that I released and other people released, the upturned photo, the truck, USPS truck, and how the battery in the picture was the old supplier, whereas the new supplier is Romeo. Making you think that could be an old picture. I even said it in that video, it could be an old picture. Remember, when you order from a supplier like this, just because you end a contract doesn't mean you no longer have any of their stuff lying around. With companies like this, especially when you have a contract with UPS to build their trucks, they may well have another 600 of them batteries lying around until Romeo start delivering their batteries, and until Romeo fulfill their orders. Now, the truck upside down, it must mean something. If it's a new photo, it must mean something. They've left it there for so long, otherwise they wouldn't have. Could it be an old photo? Yes, I mentioned that in my video. However, we know that they only did a recruitment drive in the past month. They've done 2 recruitment drives in the past month. So by the past month, I mean within a month of each other. Before then, when have they done a recruitment drive? You have to think about these things. I would appreciate to have your comments on what you think. Are you bearish or bullish? I would also like to know what price point you guys have got in if you are in Workhorse. Anyway, it's all for me. Stay safe, stay savage, stay investing. Good night.